Hello and welcome back to the Wasteland, everybody. Welcome back to Fallout 4, where today we're going to be taking a look at the combat rifle, probably the most versatile weapon in Fallout 4, for both better and worse. So let's talk about the combat rifle. You can usually get these towards the mid-game. Enemies start to carry them around. You might find them on raiders. Gunners tend to have them. And the combat rifle is a pretty common weapon to be showing up just on vendors as well. So it's not super hard to get one of these. The combat rifle is also chambered, a little bit strange because this comes in 4 different calibers. Sort of. Comes in the standard 45 round, which is one of the more common rounds. 38 if you want to change it to that, which is probably the most common round throughout the Wasteland. 308, which is a very common round too and a very strong round. And you also have 556, but that is only on one particular weapon, which can be found in Far Harbor. So that one's kind of niche. If you want to rush and get that one, you absolutely can, but you do need to pass a charisma check to get to it. We'll talk about that when we get there. For the base stats of the combat rifle, this one does 33 damage per shot, which is quite good. 109 damage per second, which is very good. This one has 119 range, so pretty long range. 70 accuracy, so pretty high accuracy. Holds 20 rounds in the base magazine. This one weighs 11.1. It is a very chunky gun for some odd reason. That's when it's actually cut down to just the pistol version of it. Or I guess not the pistol, but the sawed-off, like, Obred's version of the gun. And this one costs 25 action points to use in VAT, so pretty low action points. The one major pro of the combat rifle is that it's extremely versatile. That is the biggest pro about this gun, because it can be semi-automatic, it can be fully automatic, it has 4 different ammo types, and 4 of probably the most common ammo type that it can use, which is really good. It's good at close range, it's good at long range. It just kind of covers just about everything. The only real con to this weapon, at least for me personally, is that I don't really like the look of it. It's kind of ugly. It's not the ugliest weapon in Fallout 4, but I mean, you could have a whole competition of what is the ugliest gun in Fallout. And I've actually done that in a previous video too, so not my favorite. For perks, the perks that you're going to be wanting to look for the combat rifle are either going to be Rifleman, if you're using this in semi-automatic, or Commando if you're going to be using this in fully automatic. Both work really well for either build or both builds if you want to be taking both of them later on into the game. For an overall rating for the combat rifle, I'd put this into a high B tier. The regular combat rifle is pretty solid overall. It's a very versatile weapon, it's a very good weapon, and it gets even better with mods. So let's talk about the mods. For a receiver, I would either go with the powerful fully automatic or going with the 308 receiver. The 308 receiver will get you the most amount of damage per shot, and it'll also get you the most amount of damage per second of the combat rifle. But if you're going with Commando, then the powerful full auto will get you the best amount of DPS there, just because you're more specialized towards it. For a barrel, I'd recommend the long light barrel. This one just makes it so I have more accuracy, and it doesn't really add that much more weight to the rifle, which I enjoy. For a stock, the recoil compensating stock is just the best stock. It gets you the best amount of everything besides the weight. For a magazine, I would recommend a quick eject magazine. This is your call as to which size of magazine you want. If you're going with full auto, I'd recommend just the biggest magazine. Hold 40 rounds in this, and that'll probably be the best for you. If you're using it as just a semi-auto gun, I usually just keep it to the 20 rounds. I don't think that it's super necessary to have even more rounds than that, because it's just going to add more weight to my gun. But you do want to put quick eject on there just so you get the faster reloads. For sights, pick whatever sight you'd like. Technically, any of the scopes will get you the most damage if you have the magazine, but I don't really like the scopes on this weapon. Usually I'll just go with either glowing sights or I'll go with reflex sight. I think those ones look the best. And then for a barrel attachment, the suppressor gets you the most amount of damage, so I throw that one on there, assuming that you're taking Mr. Sandman. If you're not taking that one, then the other options are pretty good too. This makes it so the combat rifle is extremely versatile. It's very strong. It does really well at pretty much everything, and it tends to be kind of everybody's go-to gun. So I'm going to put this one up into A tier because it is just really strong. It kind of does everything better than most guns. For 308, it beats out the hunting rifle and the pipe revolver, not necessarily in terms of damage, but it can just out DPS them and it holds more rounds. For a 38, you could argue something like the pipe gun rivals it, but this one generally has more damage than it. Let's go over the unique versions of it too, because we have 2 of them to talk about. One of them is called the Overseer's Guardian, and this weapon is pretty much busted. It's widely considered the strongest weapon in Fallout 4, and I would probably agree to at least some extent. The Overseer's Guardian has 2-shot on it, which makes it so it fires out 2 rounds. You can just buy this in Vault 81 as well, which is kind of dumb because this doesn't cost very much. It's like 5,000 to 6,000 caps at most, so you could easily rush this if you would like, and that's generally the smartest thing to do, because with the 2-shot, every time you fire this, it fires out a second bullet. That second bullet does the same amount of damage as the first one, so you're effectively doubling your damage. It is split over 2 bullets, but that won't really matter if you chamber this in 308, because it's going to be just punching through just about everything. Or if you want to make this full auto, it does technically get more recoil from this, but that's not really that noticeable of effect. For the stats of the Overseer's Guardian, this has 55 damage per shot. This is 495 damage per second, has 109 range, 76 accuracy, has a magazine of 20, weighs 11.1, and costs 25 action points. This one can have a few mods on it as well, where I think it usually has the long-range night vision scope. I would just get rid of that and put regular sights on this. And then the Overseer's Guardian basically becomes the best weapon in the game because it is super versatile. It's super early on that you can get it. And it has 3 separate calibers that it can be loaded into. So if you run out of 45s, switch it to 308. If you run out of 308s and 45s, switch it to 38. And you're probably never going to be running out of all those rounds, let alone any of those rounds throughout a normal playthrough. So yeah, Overseer's Guardian all the way up into S tier. It's kind of obvious that that one's going to be up there. And then our other combat rifle is called December's Child. This one you get in the Far Harbor DLC. You do have to pass a charisma check in order to get it. If you fail that one, you can no longer get this weapon unless you just want to no-clip through the wall and grab it. So December's Child is a 5.56 gun that has all the same stats pretty much as a regular combat rifle. It's just chambered in 5.56, so you get access to another ammunition type to load into it because it needed to be even more versatile, I guess. It also has the bonus effect of rapid on top of that for some reason, where it also gets a faster reload speed and a faster rate of fire, so that's really good. Aside from that, it's pretty much got all the same base stats as the regular combat rifle, just a little bit more DPS because of that faster rate of fire and that faster reload speed. This one's a really solid option too, and it is very unique. And since it does just come with 5.56, the only thing it's really competing with is the assault rifle. And this is less ugly than the assault rifle, so I'm going to be using it more often. It also just has higher base damage, I believe, too. So December's Child is also going to go up into S tier. It's quite strong. The combat rifle, even though it's not really one of my favorite weapons, it is a weapon that I pretty much always default to, at least when playing through the vanilla game of Fallout 4, because it is just really strong. It's very versatile. You can rush the Overseer's Guardian. It uses so many different ammos. It can carry you through the entire game, even if you're not using a rifleman build. If you're using a rifleman build or a commando build, it's going to be even stronger. So yeah, it's very, very good. Tell me your thoughts on the combat rifle down in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Tell me if you've gotten any cool legendary ones too. I usually get legendary combat rifles, but most of them aren't really all that interesting. I usually get some of the more basic ones. Anyway, thank you guys so very much for watching this. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.